Good day, everyone. I'm Sir Relly Castro. Welcome to MCM 106, also known as your nursing pharmacology. So, in this lesson, we introduce you to the basic concepts of pharmacology, which will serve as foundation for understanding drug therapy, medication safety, and your responsibilities as future nurses. Before we study drugs, we must first understand what pharmacology is and why it is important in nursing practice. Always remember, every nurse administers medications. We also monitor drug effects and, of course, educate our patient. Without pharmacology, safe nursing practice is impossible. So, what is pharmacology? So, basically, pharmacology deals with the study of drugs and their actions on living organisms. The term pharmacology comes from the Greek word pharmakon, meaning drug, and logos, meaning science. Okay? So, disease may be treated through different therapeutic methods, such as diet therapy, physiotherapy, psychological therapy, and of course, drug therapy. In this course, we focus on drug therapy, which is the most common intervention used in healthcare. Let's first talk about the history of pharmacology. So the history of pharmacology dates back to ancient times. Okay. Early humans learned to harness the healing properties of plants, animals, and minerals. Much of this knowledge was based on observation, trial and error, and tradition passed from generation to generation. One of the most important early records of drugs use is the Ebers Papyrus, written in Egypt in the 16th century BC. It listed substances such as beer, myrrh, juniper berries, poppy, and even animal products. Castor oil was used as laxative, opium for pain, and moldy bread for wounds and bruises. This shows that early civilization already understood therapeutic effect even without scientific explanation. Ancient China also made major contributions to pharmacology. The Pen Chao, or Great Herbal, consisted of 40 volumes describing thousands of medicinal prescriptions derived from natural sources. This reflects how early cultures relied heavily on herbal medicine. In ancient times, diseases was believed to be caused by evil spirits, demonic possessions, or the wrath of the gods. Because of these beliefs, treatment with drugs was often combined with religious rituals and spiritual practices. Over time, people began to recognize the natural products themselves. Not rituals were responsible for healing. However, remedies were often complex, mixtures, and only one component might actually be effective. A good example is the purple foxglove plant, also known as your Digitalis purpurea. In the 18th century, it was used as part of the folk remedy to treat dropsy, also known as your edema. From this plant, Digitalis was isolated and is still used today to treat heart failure. In the early 19th century, scientists began isolating active compounds from plants. Morphine was extracted from opium, and quinine was isolated from cinchona bark for malaria treatment. This marked the beginning of scientific drug development. The discipline known as materia medica emerges. It proposed that each disease has a specific cause, each remedy has an unidentifiable essence, and drugs should be tested to determine the correct dose. These ideas became the foundation of modern pharmacology. With advances in chemistry and physiology, materia medica evolved into the modern pharmacology in the late 19th century. Pharmacology became an experimental science focused on understanding how drugs act on the body. Important development includes Galen's use of prescription. Okay. The apothecary system introduced by Arab physician. Okay. The smallpox vaccine, which was discovered by Edward Jenner. Digitalis and vitamin C. These advances shaped modern medical and nursing practice. The 19th and 20th century also saw rapid progress. Drugs such as morphine, codeine, aspirin, insulin, antibiotic, and even antihistamines, antihypertensive, oral contraceptive, and vaccines were developed, dramatically improving patient outcome. Let's go back to pharmacology. So as I've said, pharmacology is the scientific study of the origin, nature, chemistry, and the use of drugs. In clinical practice, healthcare providers focus on how chemicals act on living organisms. Now, let's talk about drugs. Drugs are chemical agents that interact with specific target molecules in the body to produce a biological effect. Drugs may be stimulatory or inhibitory, depending on how they affect the body systems. Therapeutic drugs are used to prevent or treat diseases. Nurses play a critical role in drug therapy. Responsibilities include administering drugs, assessing effects, intervening to reduce adverse reactions, and even educating patients and preventing medication errors. Okay. Pharmacology is divided into several branches. Pharmacodynamics is what the drug does to the body. Pharmacokinetics, what the body does to the drug. Pharmacotherapeutics, what is the beneficial effects of drugs. And pharmacology, drugs from natural sources. Toxicology deals with the toxic effect of drugs. Now, drugs effect includes therapeutic effects, side effects, drug allergies, anaphylactic reaction, drug tolerance, and drug interaction. Understanding this effect is essential for safe nursing care. Therapeutic effect is the primary effect intended. That is the reason the drug is actually prescribed. Therapeutic effect is also known as the desired effect. So, therapeutic effect means this is the reason why we administer the drug. Side effects is the effect of the drug that is not intended. So there are situations wherein the drug causes an effect which we do not intend. They're also called the secondary effect. Okay? Drug allergy is the immunologic reaction to the drug. Since we are introducing something foreign to the body may react. And it may be in the form of a drug allergy. Anaphylactic reaction is a severe allergic reaction, which usually occurs immediately following the administration of the drug. So, anaphylactic reaction is a severe form of drug allergy, which must be treated immediately. Drug tolerance is a decreased physiologic response to the repeated administration of a drug or clinically related substance. So excessive increase in the dosage is required in order to maintain the desired therapeutic effect. There are situations wherein when a drug is repeatedly administered, a good example of this is a patient is taking antihypertensive medication as a form of maintenance drug, there will come a time that the drug will lose its effect on the body because the body forms tolerance to the drug. So in these cases, there are several steps that can be done. One is to increase the dosage of the drug, and the other is to change the drug outright. Drug interaction is the effect of one drug modify the prior or concurrent administration of another drug, thereby either increases or decreases the pharmacological action. In drug interaction class, one drug can actually affect another drug. So if you administer more than two drugs to a patient, it can have an interaction. So it either can increase or even decrease the pharmacologic action of one drug or the other. Okay? So drug interaction may result in either summation, synergism, or even antagonism. So antagonism is the conjoint effect of two drugs is less than the drugs acting separately. So in this particular case, one drug inhibits the effect of another drug. For example, insulin and glucagon. Glucagon can actually decreases the effect of insulin. Another drug interaction is known as your summation. Summation is the combined effect of two drugs produces a result that equals to the sum of the individual effect of each agent. So it's like adding the effect of one drug to another to the effect of another drug. So one drug does not enhances or decreases the effect, but it produces an effect equal to the effect of both drugs given. A good example of this, if you give ibuprofen for pain and also paracetamol also for pain, both of them can actually decrease pain. Synergism is the combined effect of drugs greater than the sum of each individual agent acting independently. So synergism is different from summation. In synergism, one drug can actually, both drugs can actually increase their effect, which is more than their combined effect. A good example of this is your ampicillin and gentamicin. Potentiation is the concurrent administration of two drugs in which one increases the effect of the other drug. So in potentiation class naman, one drug increases the effect of another drug. Okay? So a good example of this is aspirin and also caffeine. Okay? So therapeutic effects may be palliative, curative, supportive, substitutive, chemotherapeutic, or restorative. So for therapeutic effect of drugs, so number one is palliative. Palliative means we give the drug in order for us to relieve the symptoms of the disease, but we are not acting on the disease itself. For example, a patient is experiencing pain, pain due to an injury. So pain is a symptom, so we can give analgesic to relieve pain. So that is palliative. But we do not treat the injury itself. While curative treats the disease condition itself. A good example of this is antibiotic for infection. So the cause of the disease is infection, or the cause of the disorder is infection. So we can give antibiotic in order for us to treat infection itself, curing the disorder itself. Supportive sustains body functions until other treatment of the body's response can take over. So if a patient is suffering from, let's say, a head injury, which in turn can cause an increase in intracranial pressure, we give mannitol to reduce intracranial pressure. So we are trying to support the proper functioning of the patient's body by introducing or administering drugs so before surgery due to brain tumor. Substitutes replaces body fluids or substances. So there are some situations wherein components of the body such as insulin might be reduced, possibly due to diabetes. So we can actually replace that by administering drugs. A good example for this is insulin injection for diabetes mellitus. Chemotherapeutic drugs destroys malignant cells. So cyclophosphamide for cancer is a good example for this. So in chemotherapeutic drugs, they are a specific class of drugs or a specific type of drugs that we give specifically for cancer patients. And restorative drugs returns the body to health. A good example of this are your vitamins and mineral supplements. Now, for drug nomenclature, or naming of drugs, drugs have chemical, generic, and also brand name. When you say chemical name, it is the anatomic or molecular structure of a drug. A good example of this is acetyl salicylic acid. So that is a chemical name. How about a generic name? A generic name is the original designation given to the drug when the drug company applies for approval, patents, or registration. This is considered to be as the universal name of the drug. It is universally accepted and used in all countries. And it is also protected by law. The generic name of acetyl salicylic acid is aspirin. Okay? Brand name, or so known as your trade name, is the name given by the company that developed it. Okay? So, a good example of this is Aspilet, which is the brand name of aspirin. So drugs also has kinds. So we have several kinds of drugs. They may be prescription drugs or over-the-counter drugs, both of which require responsible use. So prescription drugs, also known as legend drugs, can only be dispensed or given with prescription order. So sino ba nagbibigay ng prescription? Of course, yung doktor, with the specific name of the drug and dosage regimen to be used by the patient. While non-prescription drug, also known as your over-the-counter drug or OTC, can be dispensed without prescription order. It is used for self-treatment of a variety of complaints. A good example of these are your vitamins and minerals, cough and cold remedies, analgesics for pain, antacid, and even herbal products are considered to be as non-prescription drugs. Now, you also have your investigational drugs. Investigational drugs are new drugs undergoing clinical trials. So they are not yet released to the public or they are not yet marketed. So they are still under clinical trials. Go. Illicit drugs are known as your street drugs. So they are your illegal drugs. They are used, distributed illegally for non-medical purposes to alter mood or of feeling. Now, let's talk about the caution on the use of over-the-counter drugs. So people usually buy over-the-counter drugs from drugstores for self-treatment. But we have to remember there are caution on the use of OTT drugs. Okay, so first, delay in professional diagnosis and treatment of potentially serious condition may occur. For example, a patient is suffering from headache and he continuously buy analgesics to alleviate his headache. So, there's a possibility that the patient might be suffering from brain tumor. That's why he's experiencing headache. And because he is self-treating with the use of analgesic, there is a delay on the diagnosis of the brain tumor. Okay? Another one, symptoms may be masked, making the diagnosis more complicated. A good example of this, let's say for example, merong pasyente na nagpunta sa doktor for checkup, and before the checkup, uminom siya ng, let's say, antacid. Okay, so because of that, nawala ngayon yung kanyang stomach pain because of the antacid. When the doctor asks, ano yung nararamdaman mo? Sasabihin ng pasyente, ala. Okay, kasi uminom siya ng antacid, which may cause a complication in the diagnosis. Okay, another one is client's healthcare provider or pharmacist should be consulted before OTC preparations are taken. Even though it is also an OTC drug, we should also consult our healthcare provider and even the pharmacist in the drugstore before we can actually take over-the-counter drugs. Okay, labels, instructions should also be followed carefully. Since that we are still self-medicating, even though that's the case, we should still follow the instructions, okay, in taking even over-the-counter drug. Okay, there is a potential for overdose when taking over-the-counter drug because it is not monitored. Multiple medication users are also at risk. More medications are added to therapy regimen. So since we are self-medicating, sometimes a patient might be taking another drug and then bumili siya ng OTC drug, and that OTC drug can actually cause an effect to the other drug na tinitake niya. And also, interactions of medication are even potentially dangerous. Okay? In summary, pharmacology is a cornerstone of safe and effective nursing practice. As future nurses, your responsibility is not only to give medication, but to understand how drugs works, how they interact, and how to protect patients from harm. Thank you, and I'll see you in our next lesson.